Hi, I'm going to look at the game from the GRENKE Chess Classic. The last game we looked at was from the GRENKE Chess Open, and that was the stunning victory of the 13-year-old Meier. But in this one, we're looking at the big boys. With the white pieces, the current German #1, Georg Meier, but judging from the emergence of Meier, that might only be for a few more years. And with the black pieces we have Fabiano Caruana, who just earned the right to challenge Magnus Carlsen for the World Championship crown by winning the candidates. And they had an interesting first round encounter, Caruana and Carlsen. But in this game, Meier opened with e4. So he must have been expecting e5 or either the Petrov or getting a line that he wants in the Spanish. Because my feeling is Meier is usually playing d4, I could be wrong. I seem to connect him with some Catalan type openings. But okay, knight f3. Okay, Petrov is what Caruana has usually been playing, but he goes for knight c6 now. We have the Spanish, the Ruy Lopez, bishop e5, and Caruana wants to go for the main line here, he plays a6. But Meier takes on c6, the exchange Spanish, and well, this hasn't been like super popular in recent years. Black has many moves here, and well, for white this used to be the main weapon of Bobby Fischer, so this is not without venom. But black has many ways to play here. After castles, the most popular move is probably f6. There are other moves like bishop g4, queen d6, etc. But in this game, black played queen to f6, which has different ideas. After d4, he took on d4, and now bishop g5, which is the principled move, developing with tempo. Taking on d4 is an option when we have the endgame. But black will play bishop d7 and castle queenside. And you know, black has the bishop here. White will try to go for his classical use of the majority on the king side, and it's a battle. But in this one, Meier didn't want to go for the endgame. He played bishop g5. Now queen d6, and knight takes d4. The usual move here is bishop to, well, they're equally popular, bishop d7 or bishop e7. Caruana went with bishop to e7. During the broadcast they said that bishop d7 was perhaps more popular. Bishop went back to e3. Okay, if we take on e7, knight takes, followed probably by bishop d7 and castling queenside. So white doesn't want to indulge black in that and plays bishop e3. And now an interesting move by Caruana. Knight to h6. Now why not knight to f6? Well, white played queen d2, but if he plays f3, either after knight h6 or knight to f6, the difference is with the knight on f6 you don't really have a continuation, but with the knight on h6 you could play f5, which is an aggressive move, challenging white's center immediately, and you have the knight covering this, and this trade is just good for black because we will get this nice diagonal. And then we would just probably take and castle with a very good play for black. So that's the extra option. So it seems like Caruana wants an interesting game, and after queen d2, he channeled his inner Kramnik, and it's nice to see these ideas where black is pushing with some interesting ideas. And this is very similar to Kramnik's idea against Aronian in the candidates. The rook is coming to g8. He wants to attack. Now, first thing to notice, if we take on g5, which wasn't played, we will take, and now the rook comes to the open file, rook to g8, and turns out we don't really have great squares for white here. You have to protect the knight, and now comes bishop h3, and this is just mayhem. Long castles, pin here, black is up material, and has a better position. So knight f3 was played by Meier, rook g8 again. And now you can't take on g5 with either piece. Let's take with the knight first. Then I remove your foundation here. I take on d2 first, and then I can take on g5. This wins a piece. Same for bishop takes g5. I take on g5, and then I remove the queen, winning a piece. Taking on d6, only straightens out black's structure. She takes d6, no more double pawns. Black has the bishop pair and can look forward to a nice game. Probably f5 next, and I think black is for choice. So Meier went in another direction. He played h4, trying to use this pin here and trying to capture on h5, on g5. But this is not without danger. After queen g6, black has already lined up his heavy material on g file. So if you can open the g file, it's devastating. But for now it's closed. H takes g5. The knight moves, even though it doesn't have to because of the mate threat, but knight g4. White gets on with development, knight c3, and now h6. Of course we can't take because knight takes e3, and g2 hangs, like we mentioned, the heavy material on the g file. Bishop f4 is played. And here bishop e6 by Caruana. He could have taken on g5 first, but first he allows this, and then he takes on g5. So now we have a new avenue for an attack. We might put our heavy material on the h file, the hairy file. So 92. Meier tries to defend c5, cutting off the bishop from the defense before going on with the attack. Knight to g3. These knights actually do a good job. This knight covers h2, and this knight very nicely covers h1, which will become very important, especially now that black is starting to put his heavy material on the h file. Rook after d1, queen to h6, nice battery. But still, we don't have a threat because the knights are covering everything. And here, Meier lashed out with b4, trying to get this bishop back into the defense. Pawn takes b4, and bishop d4. Caruana just closed with f6. The rook was under fire, and now c3. So Meier is trying to get his own chances here on the queen side eventually, opening up lines and files. But this has resulted in material being equal all of a sudden. There are 4 pawns for each side, and black has the lovely bishop pair. So king f7, okay, connects the rook, but black can also argue that he can just start playing positionally now because he has positionally he's better with the bishop pair, an open position, and he could probably look forward to an endgame if that was the case. But he's still attacking, so let's see what happened. Rook to c1, rook to c4. After bishop d4, he decided to cement this rook with b5. And it's hard for white to do much. I mean, like we mentioned, these knights are just stuck trying to defend here on h2 and h1. And how do you improve? Meier decided to go to a5 with his queen. Probably trying to do something here. But now, knight h2 by Caruana. And this is where Meier loses his grip on the position. Well, his defensive grip, of course he's defending and black is better. But knight e1 he might have been able to fight on a bit. And let's make this is a variation. Knight e1, there's still no mate. To open the h file, the knight has to move, and then the knight simply comes back. Well, yeah, okay, I don't know, maybe some ideas with g4, knight f3. But all that is irrelevant because Meier took on a6 here. And that turns out to be losing. After knight takes on f3, g takes f3. Importantly, knight is still covering h1, so a nice defensive piece. But now g4. Attack now on c1. Oops. White has to do something. Let's redraw this arrow. And he played f4. Otherwise we just take, and then we're threatening mate. So f4, trying to at least, you know, keep the black pieces out. Yeah, if the pawn gets to f3, it's just queen check and it's mate. But this way, we're starting to lose material. Queen takes f4, Meier took on c4, b takes on c4, bishop to e3, and queen to f3. The rook is attacked, and in the game he played rook d6. If he plays rook b1, black will play the same idea as in the game. He'll play rook to h3, and this is very strong. The idea is simply to take on g3, and then we take everything with the queen. We take on e3, take on g3. Meier took the piece on e6, but now rook takes g3. And this is excellent calculation by Caruana. He takes on e3. And now we can't allow the black squared bishop into the game. So for instance, if we go to f1, there's a check on f3. And already here we're getting mated. And if we go to g1, we can't allow this bishop to enter the game because we will just mate. So after queen takes e3, king h2 was played, but the end result is the same. Queen f2 check, king h1, queen f1, and here, let's go back. King h2. We have to have the game caller. Queen f2, king h1, queen f1, and Meier resigned. Now why did he resign? Let's get the variation caller back up. After king h2, we will get a mating pattern, which you should be familiar with if you have seen my pattern recognition videos. And once again, I will link to it. But it's sort of a reversed pattern that I covered, which I called Stellwagen mate, queen h3 check, king g1, and bishop to c5 check. And it's sort of in reverse order. So if I were to set up, let's say, this position with black to move and put the king on g2, okay, he would go to f1 as a better move, but here queen h3 would be the mate that I call Stellwagen mate in one of the pattern recognition videos. But in the game, it was the other way around, with the bishop coming to c5 last instead of the queen on h3. But it's very similar. It's the same, you know, same pieces that star in this mate and set it up. So nice win by Caruana, who is still in great form, and it looks like we're gonna get an exciting tournament with Carlsen, Caruana, and MVL duking it out. And let's see, maybe Vityukov can hold on, but we'll have to see. Exciting games coming up. See you then.